Talk to B first. She's the mouth of this operation. If she says you're okay, then we'll talk.
I'm getting out of here.
Yes? Tidings, honoured guest. My name is Beatrice. The raffish companion you see beside me goes by the name of Ursel. The timing of your visit is rather impeccable. Ursel has just secured a fresh skeever which we hope to prepare at the top of the hour. We welcome you to join us in the consumption of this delectable feast. Stupendous. Have you bought your own refreshments? Regardless, this host recommends you procure a bottle from the barrel adjacent to the tent. Our most treasured guests cannot intake a freshly prepared skeever without the plenary imbibing of a cold beverage. Oh, forgive me, manners. I am but an erstwhile savage, who only recently gained the powers of articulation. You have a meticulous eye, traveller. Yet to answer your query, I must first tell you a story. There was once a peddler from elsewhere who sought to bring a barrel of the finest refreshments to his cousin in Skyrim. Unfortunately, those who governed the empire frowned upon the imbibing of clean, savoury drinks. Undaunted, he sought to smuggle them inside bottles of a popular brand of mead, brewed by a local man named Morgan. However, the choice proved to be his downfall, for the guards quickly confiscated his wagon. Your assumption is correct. These guards were acting in their own interests. They drank it. They say not a throat was dry that night. From the tavern to the Jarl's long house, palates were washed and minds were cleansed. And from the womb of that infinite revelry came a flash of inspiration, a paroxysm of melody and song. The bottles we store at this camp represent a harking back to that day, to the true spirit of the bard's tune. It once was, and it will again if you lend this troubadour your ear. For I speak of a grand quest, a romantic epic to return Morgoth's mead to its former glory. It is with much regret I say, doubtful, for the mead wars have claimed many in our time and times past. The great whale, Maven Blackbriar, has swallowed barrel after brewery, and still her appetite is nothing short of rapacious. However, the popularity of the song Morgoth's Mead persists, and now even the whale has conceded there is profit in another brand's name. Let your mind go beyond what should be thought. Azub is a fine host, and it is by virtue of his hunting skill that we are blessed with this current feast. Unfortunately, he is far less loquacious than I, especially in the presence of new guests. However, our guests might find that after a bottle of refreshment and some time by the campfire, the words flow faster than the Carth itself. Be sure to check the barrel by the camp. There's enough for everyone. Tidings to you, friend.
Like B said, we're having rats for dinner. You in or out? Alright then.
Hurry, traveller.
Huh? Skooma. 'Cause 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 ' Poison, basically. Although that doesn't make it much different from the kind they serve at the inn. Not that they should serve it. Skooma's got a little more bite than mead or ale. But Malakath, it'll take a chunk of your mind and your coin purse if you aren't careful. But for some folks, it doesn't do either. Just look at me. I can put half a dozen bottles down and not have the urge for another. I must have been a fur walker in my past life. Same with B. They say Skooma will make you dumber than a mud crab. Wouldn't know it by listening to her. Won't stop using all them fancy words. Well, don't get any ideas. We may have enough skooma to last 7 lifetimes, but I don't suffer fools or thieves. That's something I've been wondering myself, seeing as we only started with but 2 bottles. Except now, we got enough to fill a brewery, and I have no idea where it all came from. I asked B, and she says it was a gift from the dwarves. So, seeing as we're sitting on top of this ruin, I thought it might have something to do with that dwarven box over there. But the other day I put a bottle and a few pieces of gold in there, just to see what would happen. And nothing. My guess is she has a separate stash lying around here, but hasn't told me where. She probably thinks I'd kill her if I knew the location. Smart girl. Well, now that you mention it, there is. Do you by chance know magic? As in fire spells and things like that? Well, here's the thing. Whenever I got off the skooma, either 'cause there weren't none or my supplier never showed up, I'd get real tense. I'd be in the mine, and my teeth would start chattering louder than the pickaxes. Then there was the sweat, like taking a bath inside your clothes. I figured I was about to lose my mind if I didn't find something to fill the void. One night, I tell Bagrack I'm going out into the woods to gather my thoughts. She tells me, gathering thoughts, or just the one? I guess she knew what I'd been up to. Either way, she lets me out of the stronghold, and I just started walking. Good question. Maybe she didn't care. Or maybe she didn't know after all. Never asked her what she meant by the one. Even I'm not that stupid. I wandered around a bit, looking for a ditch to lay in and die. Made it halfway to solitude when my knees buckled, and I collapsed on my bottom. Must have been a sad sight. Even the rabbits started getting curious. One of them scampered close enough to where I could pet it. Except I didn't stroke its fur. I grabbed it. Then I picked up the torch, and I lit its rear end on fire. It was pretty satisfying. Suddenly, all the tension in my muscles was gone. After that, I made it like a ritual. Went out every night, found some furry thing, and set it aflame. Helped keep me sane for the most part. Not enough to stay in the stronghold and work the mines, but enough to get up and leave. Don't need to anymore, now that I got drink. Although, I still get the urges whenever I see one of them furry bastards. Only B saw me burn a fox the other day. and she didn't like it one bit. Now she won't let me anywhere near the fire, so I gotta make my own. Well, I drink skooma for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and live with a beggar who thinks she's a bard. So no, I'm perfectly sane. In any case, if you aren't gonna teach me something I can use, then you best forget we ever had this conversation. Alright then.
What would mud crabs want with my satchel anyway?